All right, in this video lesson, we're going to take a look at solving rational equations. So these are the notes that we handed out in class. Let's just take a look real quick at these examples. Number one, we are solving for x. So here we have an x kind of over 1 minus x plus 3 over x minus 3 equals 2 over x minus 3. Okay, so with these fractions, what we're going to do to solve this equation is to basically get rid of the fraction by multiplying each part of this equation by the same thing. So we need to find the least common multiple. Well, we only have a denominator of x minus 3. So that is what we're going to multiply everything by. That's going to become our least common multiple, is the x minus 3. We don't have to count for it twice, but we do have to count for it once. So each one of these terms are going to get multiplied by x minus 3, okay? The x here gets multiplied times x minus 3. All right, and then I bring down my minus sign. But this x plus 3 here already has the denominator of x minus 3. So when we multiply this whole fraction times x minus 3, they'll just cancel each other out. So all we have to do is keep the numerator x plus 3. Same with the 2. The 2 over x minus 3, if we ended up multiplying that times an x minus 3, well, the x minus 3 in the numerator and the denominator would just cancel each other out, so we're just left with the 2. So both of these just canceled, and we're left with the numerator. So now we have x times x minus 3 minus x plus 3, which I have in parentheses because we're subtracting that expression, x plus 3, equals 2. Now I just multiply and solve. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is minus 3x. Here I distribute this negative to this x and this negative to this positive 3. It's like negative 1 times these two terms equals 2. Then it's just a matter of combining your like terms and setting the equation equal to 0. So this minus 3x and minus x became minus 4x. Then when I subtracted 2 from both sides, minus 3 minus 2 became minus 5. Then I'm looking to factor this trinomial, ax squared plus bx plus c. So the factors of negative 5, the numbers that multiply to get negative 5, that equal negative 4. Well, that's negative 5 times 1 and negative 5 plus 1. So here I've written it in factored form, and what makes this factor equal 0 is 5, and what makes this factor 0 is negative 1. That would be your two solutions. You want to make sure in your denominator that if one of your answers, if you plug it in, if it would make the denominator 0, then it's not really a solution, but it works for both of these. Okay, let's go to number 2. The first thing we have to do, number 2, is to factor, is to factor this denominator of x squared minus x. So they share a factor of x, so x times x minus 1. So now you can see that the denominator, we have an x that we have to account for, and we have an x minus 1. So the x times x minus 1 is actually going to become our least common multiple. That's what we're going to multiply everything by in order to get rid of the denominators. So the 9 has to get multiplied by both of them. 9 times x minus 1. Plus, the x doesn't have to get multiplied times x minus 1, but it does have to get multiplied by the x. And then finally, this 1 has all of the least common multiple in the denominator, so that would just cancel everything out, and we're left with 1. So now, again, you just do the multiplication, and you set it equal to 0, and then you factor the trinomial. This one's a little bit different because the ax squared is greater than 1. Okay, but just a reminder, you can look through mine here on how you solve that. One of the answers was 1, and the other one was negative 1/10. You will see that if x is 1 and you plug that in up here, 1 minus 1 is 0. We cannot have 0 in the denominator, so that would not be a solution. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Again, in number 3, I had to factor This trinomial, it factors into x minus 8, x plus 3. So when you look at all of the denominators, in order to cancel out all of these fractions, we're going to multiply by the least common multiple, which includes at least x plus 3 and x minus 8, which is both of them here. So that's our least common multiple. So when we get to this 3, we do not have to multiply by x plus 3 because the x plus 3 here and here would cancel. But 3 times x minus 8 plus the x only gets multiplied by x plus 3 and equals just the x because the denominator is the entire least common multiple. So when we multiply and divide by that, they cancel, okay? So again, that's how you set it up. Then you have to correctly distribute. So we have 3x minus 24 plus x squared plus 3x equals x, okay? Combine your like terms. 3x and 3x is 6x. Then this x on the right side, we're going to subtract x from 6, or subtract it from both sides. 6x minus x is 5x. Then the factors of negative 24 that equal 5 are 8 and negative 3. So x plus 8, x minus 3. And both of these, this negative 8 and this 3, are both solutions. All right, now let's go to the last one, number 4. I included this one because it's a little bit different, okay? You can see here the denominator of x plus 3. Here's an x minus 3 and another x minus 3. So when we look for the least common multiple in order to clear out all of these fractions, it's going to be x plus 3, x minus 3. So this first term, the numerator is 3. It only has to get multiplied by the x minus 3 because the x plus 3 is canceled. Plus, in the second term, in the numerator, we have this expression of x plus 2. And that x plus 2 has to get multiplied by the x plus 3. I've shown that here. Not the x minus 3, because those would cancel, but the x plus 2, x plus 3. This is where you're going to have to FOIL. And then it equals, here the numerator of 5 only has to get multiplied by x plus 3. So I've shown that here. Okay, now I'm going to do the multiplication. So 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. But here we have to FOIL. First, outside, inside, last. So distribute the x to both of these terms and the 2 to both of these. So x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 3 is 6. I went ahead and left that all in parentheses. It is all being added, so it's not really going to change any of the signs. It would if it was subtraction, but it's addition. So the last term, 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times 3 is plus 15. So now I think here I just cancel out. Actually, I add 3x and 2x inside this parentheses, and I get 5x. And then I just clear out the parentheses. So 3x minus 9 plus x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 5x plus 15. Then I combine like terms. 5x and 3x is 8x, so x squared plus 8x, and then negative 9 plus 6 is negative 3 equals 5x plus 15. Then I got everything on the left side by setting it equal to 0. I subtracted 5x from the right side and from the 8x on the left and got 3. Subtracted 15 from negative 3 and got negative 18. Then I factored this trinomial into x plus 6, x minus 3. And then the x plus 6, the solution to that would be negative 6, and the solution to the negative 3 would be 3. But when you look at these two answers, if you plug a 3 in here, 3 minus 3 is 0. That is not a solution, okay? All right, that is a pretty quick look at what we did in class on Tuesday. So be sure you know how to solve equations, rational equations.